Alright, what is going on everybody? Captain here, back again with another Marvel Contest Champions video. Today I'm going to get you some Green Goblin gameplay. I recently awakened him, so I can finally have been able to test out his Super Bomb ability. I had been testing him out in some fights in the Road to the Labyrinth with him unawakened, and I couldn't quite take the champions down that I was trying, so I figured I would wait until I could get him awakened and see if how much better that makes him, and turns out it's helped a significant amount. So the fights I'm going to show you are against the Road to the Labyrinth Iron Patriot, and he is in chapter or quest number 3 or whatever that is, and he is an all or nothing node. He has the Spite, which anytime you have a buff active on you, the enemy is constantly going to be getting a power flood or power gain, whatever it is. I think it's power gain. And it's active until your buff expires. So the nice thing with Green Goblin for this node is he doesn't have any natural buffs that he gives himself from just fighting. The only one is dexterity from evading. So it's kind of nice. The madness and the cunning do not apply toward him getting a buff, so that kind of helps out. Plus, with all or nothing, ideally you want a power drain champion, which with Green Goblin, while his power drain is not the most reliable, and by most reliable I mean it's not really reliable at all, when it does activate it can be pretty solid, which I'll show you later on. And then after that fight I went ahead and fought the Drax afterwards to kind of showcase how a normal fight in Road to the Labyrinth with a Spite node will go, rather than one that has all or nothing, because with all or nothing you had to play it a little bit differently. So before I show those two fights though, I wanted to show a quick clip that I took from when I was testing, and this was from before I awakened him. This short little clip is going to showcase the ability to take less damage from special 3s with Green Goblin. It can be pretty significant if you play him right. You do have to pay really close attention though. The key is you need to have equal or more of the madness than cunning, and that way the enemy's special attacks do 30% less damage, and then you want to make sure that you have a weakness or even 2 weaknesses on the enemy from using your special 1 or from getting it from a super bomb. So let's go ahead, roll that clip, and then we'll get into the actual kills of Iron Patriot and Drax. Alright, so you can see that the clip starts off, Iron Patriot gets pushed all the way to a special 3. I use my special 1, don't get a single power drain, but I pause right here to show that the madness and cunning are equal and there's a weakness on him. So then immediately he's going to hit his special 3, and you'll see since they're equal and he's got a weakness, and I pause it again, he only did about like a fifth of my damage. With the difference between those two champions, he should have done a whole lot more. So when that happened during my testing, I thought that was pretty cool, and I made sure I wanted to show that at least in the video, to show like if you accidentally push him to a special 3, it's not totally lost. You have a chance to get out of it still. So here we go into the actual kill of Iron Patriot. Remember, this guy has all or nothing, so he will be saving to his special 3. Starts with 1 bar of power, and he has this Spite as well, which so if I have any buff active on me, he will have a constant power gain. So right off the bat, I know I want to get his power under control, so I want to use his special 1 as much as possible. You can see I get one of the power drains to go on there, and then from the super bomb. And as well as with the madness, I will gain a little bit of regen. So as long as my madness is higher than or equal to the cunning, I will get a little bit of regen from all the basic attacks. It's like 60%, I think. So you will see that come into a play a little bit. So if you're seeing that regen, that's what that is from. So you see right here, I get him to his special 3. I use a special 1, and I don't get any of them, but then the super bomb does a little bit. So that's where having the special ability helps out a ton, because you get more of a chance to get that power drain. And here in a second, I'm going to use my special 1 again, and you'll see this is the most effective power drain I've ever had. You can see it hits all 4 times there. Show it again in slow motion, and it takes away just over a full bar of power. So this is where I feel like if Green Goblin, if that feature was active more often, you're able to get that on a more frequent basis, he'd be so much better character. But sadly, you don't get that every time. I do get lucky, and I get it a couple times throughout this fight. But yeah, I'd love to see that more with this character. So I'll go ahead and kind of let this fight play out. You'll see I'm basically just spamming my special 1 and trying to keep the buffs around the same, the madness and the cunning. And if you can't remember which icon stands for which, I do have a little cheat sheet on the side of the screen right there for you, so you can constantly know which one is which. And also throughout the fight, you'll see I don't always finish a combo because I don't want to push him all the way up because I'm not close to my special one. So I'll kind of back off and try to play it out so that I can get to my special one before I use it. So all right, now I'm going to stop talking. I'll let the fight kind of play out here and you can see how it goes. All right, he's getting close here. I've got him past his regen. I got that. And what I messed up to do here, I shouldn't have used my heavy because I pushed myself up a bar of power and I gained a cunning. So cunning was higher than madness, so I didn't get the minus 30% damage. But luckily, his special 3 did not actually stun me like it normally does. So I got super lucky actually in this fight right there. But I was able to take him down right here. Wasn't the most efficient fighting, but it was definitely a really strong fight with Green Goblin against him, showing off. I for the most part didn't get hit by a special 3 until the very end, so I thought I was going to be able to make it all the way through without it, but I was pretty happy with that fight. Finally got a good shot, and I remember that was only my second try with him against him once he was awakened. Alright, so into the next fight here against Drax. You can see again that he has Spite, so I don't want to have the Dexterity active as much as possible. I don't want to give him that power, but in this fight I'm going to use a different strategy, which is using the special 2, which is where I think Green Goblin really shines. It's a lot more stronger than his special 1, and it can deal a lot more damage because you do the Incinerate as well as the poison at the end of it, plus if you land a power bomb. So you'll see throughout this fight I'm using my special 2 to try to get as many crits as possible, and I want to attack also when I have more of the cunning than madness, because then my special attacks will hit just a little bit harder. So I actually meant to use my special 2 there. I thought I had the full, but I ended up getting a massive super bomb from the special 1, so that was pretty sweet. You see right there, I get that regen coming back because I do have them equal, and I got hit by a couple basic attacks there, so the regen really kicked in nicely there, and I get a couple pretty nice intercepts against this Drax, and he uses his specials pretty freely, so this fight goes pretty well, and this was my first time ever facing him with Green Goblin, so I was pretty happy with how this fight went. One thing I actually forgot to mention too about this Drax is he does have strike back, so every time I use a special attack he will be gaining 1 bar of power. So that was another thing I wanted to pay attention to with this fight. Alright, you can see that this fight with Drax is coming to an end. I'm about to use a special 2, and when I do, the hovercraft, when it flies forward, I get a nice crit. Then I get a pretty nice super bomb at the end. So you can see right here in slow motion, when the craft hits him right here, it hits him twice. Once for 3,200, once for a little over 1,000. But when that one crits both times, you're doing 6, almost 7,000 damage just from that. Plus he throws the bomb at the end for another 1,000, and then gets the poison, incinerate, plus the extra poison incinerate from the super bomb. So that's where his special 2 can start to do a lot of damage and where he is used best. Plus his victory little fly around is pretty cool looking, I think. So there you have it. Finally got some Green Goblin gameplay now that I understand the character a lot better and I've had some time to actually test him out. And I apologize I didn't get this out sooner. I wanted to make sure that I fully understood him before I threw this out there, you know. So I hope this helps shed some light on this character, because I do know he has been getting a little bit of slack. You know, he's not as good as Kabam hyped him up to be, but I do think he still has his use in the game, and there might be stuff in the future that they have planned that he's good for. For instance, even in this event quest, I did use him to fight himself in the one quest that you didn't gain power for unless you were using a villain. So he did come in handy for that, because I was looking through my champs list and I didn't really have that many villain characters, so he was one of my better options for that. So hopefully in the future they might get a little bit of buff to him, like I said, to that special 1, increase that power drain chance, and that would make him significantly better, I think. So if this video helped you guys at all, let me know down in the comments. If you have another way that you think he is good to use, go ahead, throw that down there as well. I'd love to see other ways people are using Green Goblin in the game. But that was going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.